Alright, hello internet, this is Cardiacs coming in with a new video. Today is going to be a bit different in that this is technically not a speed paint. Instead, this is kind of a tutorial of sorts. Disclaimer though, it's more of like how I render hair, I guess. So, I hope you enjoy. This is just a little doodle that I want to show to explain my process before I get on to the part about, well, the actual speed paint part that's not going to be quite as fast as it usually is. Alright, so this is my stupid little sketch. I didn't quite work out how I wanted to go about this. So I'm just winging it, yay! What I typically do is I will just use the lasso selection tool and choose, or just redraw essentially, where the color is going to be. So there is a part of the head that I've noticed in things that typically has shines around it, and that would be this part right here. This is what I call the crown. So that's the top of the head, and typically the shines are going to be right here, like right on the edge of the crown. Now there are two ways that I typically do this. The first one is simply taking a simple lighter color and going in with the highlights. And then for super glossy effect, go with an almost white color, if not legit white, and even smaller shines. A trick that could be used would be to draw curved versions of the letters on the screen. They help to give a more believable texture in the shine, especially if you overlap them in a more scribbly manner. What really helps these shines stand out is going to be contrast. So when you draw hair, imagine it has some kind of shape. So the darker parts are going to, the parts that are in shaded areas are going to be darker, obviously. So for this little doodle, it'd be kind of like this, though obviously not as messy. So right here would be the shines. And for texture, these little bits right here. To help these shines kind of help turn out would be to do this, the little jaggedy lines that give the feeling of hair. And you're going to want to go with the flow of the hair to make it look more believable, I guess, as hair. La -da 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 -da. Do, do, do. Down here, it's going to be a lot darker, so there's not going to be quite as much texture showing. So there's the texture, and again for the hair, maybe a bit lighter of a color, just to at this if you're this would be the lighter version of the actual natural hair color, which in this case is black. So there of course would be other places that there would be shines, but it's wherever really that you want it to be. And typically, if I were doing this traditionally, I would probably leave it like this. I wouldn't bother with the little detailed lights, but if you really want a glossy look, you gotta go with the contrast and make sure that the highlight is really, really bright. And it will give a stylized glow to the hair. Because I'm curious if this will work. I'm gonna go run over it, see how it looks with a brown overlay. Doot 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 doot. I don't do grayscale, so this probably looks terrible. Does anyone even have this kind of color hair? Maybe somebody, but personally I like making the part darker. If the light was coming over here, then there would be a little bit of shadow being cast in between the part of the hair, so it'd be a little bit darker. Okay, so it's good enough. I'm gonna take this color, go in and mark out the shiny parts very lightly with just a zigzag curved line, really, like this. Just going with the flow of the hair. Add some more down there. And then to get that gloss, I'm going with this small size brush. Just redo right over where you marked with the light color. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do, except it's not quite this messy. Alright, so next is going to be the Speedpaint that shows you my process in more detail, so it's not quite so, I don't know, painterly. I hope you enjoy. I might actually do something with this little drawing here. I don't know yet. Okay, here is the recording I did of the drawings that I did purely for this tutorial. I started with a matte flat color and started going in with the darker version of the color for, you know, shading. And I went with the flow of the hair to give the texture of hair, so we could see bits of strands in how the hair sits. I actually really like how this character's hair turned out, though honestly the hair was supposed to be darker, like almost black, but I was enjoying the color of that kind of warm brown too much to just cover it all with black. So instead I just shaded it a whole lot. I actually kind of like how the skin turned out on her too, though she was supposed to be so much more pale as well. By the way, I do intend to put up a speed paint of these two characters in the normal way that I do. This one will not have a background though, it'll just be that whiteness. I kind of wish I did something, but I mean, I wasn't sure what I could possibly put in that would emphasize or accentuate, I guess, the characters. This character, the one with the blue hair, I liked how her hair turned out because it had kind of, I don't know, an almost metallic shine to it at the end. It was kind of cool. It usually doesn't turn out like that, but I don't usually do such extreme bright shines. But a friend of mine really wanted to know how I did the glossy effect, so I figured I'd make a video out of it, so yay! Yeah. Originally I wanted to do 4 different characters with different hair colors, but that would have ended up being a bit too long, and I wasn't entirely enjoying the sketches and line art for the other 2 characters, so I just chose these 2. So there's one with a brown/black hair color and one that is typically not the most natural color, although the character on the right, the one with the blue hair, is actually a demon character, so she has an unnatural eye color, hair color, and I think that's it actually for her unnatural appearance, as far as humans go anyway. Aside from things that aren't currently showing. I love my 2 characters here very much. I just love their personalities, and their personalities especially are very different from each other. The one on the left is very stoic, and the one on the right is possibly, obviously, very happy. They're just really fun, and I love drawing them. I haven't drawn the one on the left very often, though. In any case, about the shines, which I'm working on right now for the blue-haired character, they were actually pretty fun to do. I like throwing the shines like almost everywhere to give as much of a bouncy feel as I can. It's like really fluffy hair is really fun to draw, in my opinion. And like I said, when it came out, the blue hair, it seemed to, like, when it was zoomed out, it just gave a kind of metallic feel, in my opinion. And that was kind of cool to see. I didn't expect that, and I didn't intend for that to happen, but it was neat. Oh, at this point, I didn't like that the braid ended so randomly, and even though the character's hair is supposed to be a lot longer, I decided to finish it off right there, because I didn't like how it just ended so suddenly. And another thing I like to do about drawing is adding little stray hairs that pop out, because it's very hard to get hair to look as clean and neat as it's typically drawn. So drawing messy hair is really fun. Well, that's it. So thanks for watching, and have a look at the description. Lots of neat little details down there. Also, I really hope this helped somebody.